Hey guys, Tess here from www.itsyourtherapy.com, and today we're going to talk about the different stages of change. So whether you want to change something like your addiction or another pattern in your life, your relationship patterns or your thinking patterns, there is always a spectrum that you can measure where you're at in the stage of change. So let's get right into it. Denial is the first stage of non-change, and that means that you are oblivious to what is going on. People around you might see that you have a problem. You are not seeing the problem. You're not seeing the consequences associated with the problem or correlating the consequences in your life or the happenings in your life that you find discomfort in and the problem that you have. So somewhere the disconnect is happening and therefore you're in denial. The first actual stage of change is pre-contemplation, which means you recognize that you have a problem, but you are not thinking about taking action whatsoever towards changing it. Contemplation is the second stage of change, and this is where you are aware of the problem and you are contemplating whether or not you should take steps forward in changing it. So do I want to get rid of these consequences? Do I believe that there is a potential to have a better life if I make a certain change? And we're contemplating, we're collecting ideas and pondering whether or not changing would be the best route for us. Preparation is the third stage of change, and thus far in these stages of change, there is still no commitment to action. However, in this stage of change, we are preparing to take action. So there is an intent to act, and we have compiled some of our options, and we are now just in the deciding process of which action we're going to take. You made it to the fourth stage of change, the action stage of change. So this means that you have decided to take action, you've decided on a route and a way that you are going to follow to take change seriously and really committed to making that change in your life. So whether it be combating an addiction, which you could call a mind frame, the mind frame and how it works, we are often addicted to our way of thinking because our looping patterns that happen in the neural network are automatic, and that becomes our addiction, so to speak. And we are now committed to making this a change in our lives. So maybe we sought treatment if we have a substance abuse problem, maybe we are seeking therapy for our marital issues. Whatever the case, you have an action plan in place and you are taking that action. You are moving forward. You are making the calls, you are going to the meetings, you are going to the therapy sessions, you are making a change. If it is weight loss, for example, you've hired a trainer or you bought the gym membership, you are preparing your clothes and your shoes for the next day, you have hit the gym once this week. So all of these mean that you're in the action stage of change. The fifth stage of change is the maintenance phase of change. If you've gotten here, wow, congratulations. Many people don't always get here, and it takes a lot of relapses and roundabouts and spiraling and circling in these same cycles before we finally have made it a commitment and now are on the maintenance track. So now all we need to do after the action stage is to keep that action in place. And we are continuing the habit. So now we have started a spiral in a new direction. We are creating new habits, new loops, new neural connections, and now these are habit forming. They come more naturally to us, and we still might need a treatment team around us, supports, and people in our lives that keep us accountable, and patterns in our lifestyle that keep us accountable, and also our triggers or activation points for our brain to continue along the path that we've decided to go on in the action stage of change. So we are maintaining right now, we are smooth sailing, and this is the greatest place to be when we have finally made it. And I just want to put that out there that if you have made it to this stage, then please think to yourself every single day how grateful you are and take credit every single day for the changes that you have made. Always refer to your first stage of change, the denial and the pre-contemplation stages, where you just did not have what you have today. So really grasp onto that so that you appreciate what you have worked for and you want to keep maintaining it. And the sixth stage of change, yes, is relapse. So this means that you have now relapsed into old behavioral patterns. So the brain has probably decades of this old behavior that you've cultivated in your life, and to expect that you're going to do it perfectly every single time, and once you're in the action stage, go right to the maintenance stage and you're going to stay in that stage, is pretty unrealistic. So to really think of a relapse as a slip, a lot of people call it, a relapse is more going totally back, having zero hope and staying in that relapse phase for a long period of time. Other people call them slips because if they have a slip, then they get right back on the horse. You know, you fall off the horse, you get back on the horse. You fall, you stand up again, you trip, and you just keep going. So it's a marathon, not a sprint. Keep in mind that it's not over, and relapse is a part of the stages of change. So whatever you're trying to change, expect that you're gonna have some days where you fall back into old patterns, and that's all it is. So just get back up, get back on the horse, you're fine. So I just want to add that once you've had a relapse, just think about what can I learn from this and apply that to the next phase, which is now the maintenance phase with more knowledge and data that you can use in this maintenance phase to not go back to that previous relapse. So each relapse can be a little bit less uncomfortable and a little shorter in duration and a little less in frequency if we learn from our relapse experiences. So instead of berating yourself for going back into those old pattern behaviors, just have grace for yourself, have compassion, and remind yourself, this is all a part of the stages of change. I'm really making a difference here. I'm really trying to change. So therefore, a slip is something to be expected. I can learn from this, and I don't have to live here. I don't have to stay here. I can go right back on my plan that was working for me in the beginning. So once again, keep in mind that there's always a lesson to learn, and you are on the path to recovery and sustaining change over time.